Today, be happy with the skin you're in, because your Steam ID is stuck with it. This is CheckPoint.
Welcome to CheckPoint, where once again Graham has refused my request to add a hairdresser to the budget.
If I don't get a caterer, you don't get a hairdresser.
I bought you a chocolate bar like 2 days ago.
How is a chocolate bar equivalent to a hairstylist?
All I want is one blowout a week.
Is that a stalker joke? Ugh. Rust, the sandbox game from Gary Newman's Face Punch Studios, has added a new feature that's almost an experiment in race relations. A recent update to the game added a semi-unique facial structure and skin tone to everyone's character. You can't change it, it's actually locked to your Steam ID, so it's just who you are. The idea is to make the in-game gene pool so diverse that you can recognize another player just by their face, making the name tag redundant. This has, perhaps unsurprisingly, upset some people. Newman said the uptick of racist language was startling, and the team at FacePunch were debating whether to step in and address it, when they realized that whenever someone was being racist on a given server, they were in the minority and the rest of the server would take action, usually by hunting them down. Rust has inadvertently created a new society where racists are the persecuted minority. Sign me up.
If you've ever strapped on an Oculus Rift, you'll know that it's A, pretty cool, B, almost certainly nauseating. However, some researchers at Purdue University think they've figured out a way to bring us the joys of virtual reality without the pains of real-world queasiness. Turns out when you just add a little digital nose to a VR demo, it allows subjects to stay in their way longer. One where they explored a Tuscan villa. If they had the nose in the simulation, they were in there for an average of 94.2 seconds longer before they fell ill. The Purdue team thinks that adding a nose to someone's field of view, the same nose we all have and just kind of tune out of our vision, helps our sensory system sort out what's what when we're in VR. It's not a perfect system because people still get sick, but this discovery does mean scientists can work on improving VR and incorporate nose punts into their research papers while they do it. And if you've ever met a research scientist, you'll know what they'll pick as their favorite upside.
Dead or Alive 5 is finally out on PC today, despite seeming like a big joke at the expense of PC fighting game fans. Apart from looking much more like the PS3 version, not the PS4 version, here follows a list of things that are missing from the PC release. 2 entire stages, Rumble support for gamepads, Steam Cloud support, achievements of any kind, and online multiplayer. Online multiplayer! Like the whole point. Oh, but don't worry, they're adding that in 3 months. Team Ninja, it would have been easier and cheaper to just release a picture of your actual balls instead of this metaphor.
Hey, were you dumb enough to buy Zynga shares when the company went public in 2011? Well, if you were, good news! You're still dumb, but you can now sue for vengeance. And by vengeance, I mean IPO fraud. It's been a few years, so I'll give you all the TLDR here. Way back in 2009, Zynga built an enormous, highly profitable company because Facebook users were really into maintaining annoying virtual farms because every time you logged onto Facebook, it would ask you to maintain your annoying virtual farm. Zynga then decided it was so great and awesome it should become a publicly traded company, and it lets lots and lots of people buy Zynga shares for about $15 a pop. But then Facebook decided all those annoying notifications were actually really annoying, so they turned them off. And without a constant stream of reminders, most people forgot about their virtual farms, and Zynga's Facebook presence turned into a virtual dust bowl. So Zynga went from making tons of money to losing tons of money, and its shares, to use a technical Wall Street definition, became worthless toilet paper garbage only good for poop and pee. They're now trading at $2.77 each. But how is this lawsuit worthy? Well, a bunch of burned investors have evidence that Zynga knew Facebook was going to be changing the way its game platform operated before the company went public, and that they didn't tell the Securities and Exchange Commission, even though a change like that would, and did, have a dramatic result on the company's earning potential. They also contend that Zynga's projected future income was in decline before they went public, another thing they forgot to mention in their IPO. Whoops! Anyhow, foolish investors, I hope you get what you can out of Zynga, which at this point is probably just some used office chairs, dusty company swag, and a life lesson about people who will literally sell you digital magical beans.
While North America's ESRB video game rating system is wholly voluntary, companies like GameStop have adopted it as policy to not sell M-rated games to underage kids. Since 2012, the UK's PEGI rating system is actually enforceable by law, with potential legal penalties to retailers who sell games to kids below the game's rating. But if you think your kid is old enough to handle Call of Duty, or you just don't care, you can buy them that game, because they're your kid and that's your choice to make. The Nantwich Education Partnership disagrees. Representing 16 schools in Cheshire, the group sent parents a letter stating that children have been observed discussing, in person and on social media, games that are rated above their age, and that the NEP is prepared to take action. Specifically, quote, if your child is allowed to have any inappropriate access to any game or associated product that is designated 18+, we are advised to contact the police and children's social care as it is neglectful. Heaven forbid Cheshire parents be allowed to determine what their child can handle, and forget that there's no mention of movies, TV, or music in this letter. If your child is playing Bloodborne, that's neglect.
But what if they keep forgetting to pick up their blood echoes?
Well, that's neglect, obviously. They gotta level up if they want to beat Father Gascan.
Yeah.
Duh.
Coming up, Nintendo has delayed the upcoming Zelda game for Wii U, which is actually not news because they've delayed every major Zelda release since Majora's Mask. Everything is fine and normal. I kept fucking up.
Hello, CheckPoint fans! A reminder that CheckPoint, much like everything we do, is now supported by you directly through Patreon. Please check it out. We would really appreciate it.